Hello and welcome to QA Bootcamp. My name is Daniel Campbell. I don't upload as often as I would like. Usually that has something to do with the fact that I'm just really busy. But I've been doing these reaction videos lately, and I thought about, you know what, why not just sort of mix the traditional videos that I make where it's just me hunting for bugs and I'm writing them up and teaching stuff, and, my reaction videos. So why wouldn't I just, react to bug compilation videos on YouTube and write up what I think the bug is? Uh, Okay, I went ahead and wrote it up real quick. I have not proofread it. Actually, I should probably pause it and proofread it because proofreading is super duper important. So you can look at what I got right now and then look at it whatever I got when I'm done proofreading. I proofread like usually at least 2 or 3 times before I post. So as well should you. Be right back. Okay, so here's after one proofreading. So I did want to leave something here, and it seems so unbelievably minor, but it will make you a better writer, I promise. So there is a saying called brevity is the soul of wit. Basically what that means is if you can remove words from a sentence and say the same thing in less words, do it. That is almost always going to be better. Get rid of the period there, don't need that, although it's not a big deal. So, for instance, unbelievably minor, like I said, the helicopter will fail to load when viewing how about the cutscene? Blah, 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 blah. Following the mission. I guess you could say the whole mission, or you could just say, like, in the search terms, or something along those lines. In the mission. See, it's not a perfect science. I say I definitely still waffle back and forth on how best to do things, so a lot of times you have to play it by ear. So. Okay, so the helicopter will fail to load when viewing the cutscene Michael underscore Trevor underscore 998 following the mission Trevor underscore 556. So what I said before about the brevity being the soul of wit, this seems super minor, but bam. So this would be if I had no idea really what's going on at all, what I'm making whatever I'm doing to make the bug happen. I honestly do not know because, like I said, but I'm gonna take like a guess at if I were there, like this is probably what I would try, and this is just assuming that I've done testing and figured out what it is. So I'm going to rewrite this description real quick to better say what I think the bug is if I were there and just taking a crack at it. So let me go and rewrite it. Okay, so here's my wild guess at what might be going on, or the test that you could use to make it happen. Again, if I were there actually testing for them, I would go through the steps of making sure this is what's actually happening. Do not make wild assumptions when writing a bug unless you've tested it and figured it out. Cannot stress that enough. Don't make wild assumptions. Anyway, the helicopter fails to load if it's destroyed after the post-mission cutscene has been triggered, but before the cutscene is finished loading. Steps. Enter the mission, Trevor, blah, blah, blah. Progress through the mission normally. Before triggering the final cutscene, damage the helicopter to where it is on fire. So it is on fire, but not yet destroyed. See? Less words. Yay. It reads better. You almost always will read better with less words. Just make sure you don't take out too many. Anyway, the helicopter is burning. As the helicopter is burning, trigger the cutscene. Observe the helicopter is no longer in the cutscene. How about we do this? Helicopter fails to load for the cutscene. Results, obviously, helicopter fails to load. Expected results, helicopter loads the cutscene. Okay, so down here, if this is what caused it, I can almost guarantee that it would happen in most cutscenes that involve a vehicle that is both in the mission and in the post-mission cutscene. So especially if it's like in the same condition and everything like that. So if this were what caused it, like this set of steps, I can almost guarantee you could replicate the bug in a different cutscene. Now, question, is that a different bug or is it the same bug? I would argue it is definitely the same bug because the thing that is causing it to happen isn't necessarily mission dependent. If it's happening in every single mission, then it's a problem with the mechanics of how the game is loading those cutscenes after a mission and how it's handling a damaged vehicle or a potentially destroyed vehicle that is needed for that cutscene. So all right, so as far as the narration part goes, I would probably just, and like I say, you don't have to use a narrated video. I just like to use narrated videos because they make things really easy for the developer. So I would just say, a vehicle fails to load in a post-mission cutscene if the vehicle is destroyed after the mission has been marked complete. Transition it into the post-mission cutscene, but before the cutscene itself has finished loading. I would say something along those lines. Just make sure that you basically can read your description word for word and then put in other details that you want to make sure that they know as you're doing it. So that is the bug for this one. We'll go ahead and delete this, and we'll go ahead and get started on the next one. Oh, and one last thing on this one. You may ask, how do I know it's not just invisible? How do I know the helicopter is there, but it's just not invisible? Well, there's a couple things. One, the sound effects. There's no sound effects or audio for the vehicle itself, so I'm going to guess that since there's no audio or sound effects, then the vehicle's definitely not there. Another thing saying the vehicle is definitely not there, just like it's not just a matter of a static mesh didn't load, it's a matter of the vehicle itself did not load. So yeah, so when Trevor takes off and then the cutscene here, let's get to the end of it.
Old before his time. Yeah, to never grow up.
Okay, so for this one, right here if you're watching. So if the vehicle were still there and it was just invisible, he wouldn't have fallen like that. So during the cutscene, all of his movements and location and animations are all being overridden by the cutscene itself, like by the logic of the cutscene. But the moment that cutscene was done overriding those things for Trevor, it says, oh, you're in the sky, start to, behave dynamically now, start to act like, start to apply gravity, physics, AI, all that kind of stuff. So that's what makes me think that the vehicle just straight up did not load. So, all right, moving on.
Some fool! We are women and we are free. We're bringing an end to the patriarchy. We are women. Hear our pain. We are women. Hear our shout. We are women. Have no doubt. We are women. We are free.
Shut the fuck up! Thank you. Oh, my N-word, huh? What's up, homie? Huh?
Okay, so I probably don't need to go all the way through this one, but let me go ahead and take my best crack at it, and I'll let you know what I find out, or let you know what it ends up looking like. You'll notice that he ragdolls and then pops back up.
I have met a lot of assholes in my
So
life.
ragdoll is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term. Basically, is whenever you'll see a character in a video game, especially physics, open world stuff like that. A character gets damaged and they kind of go flying, and their arms and legs are kind of flopping and stuff like that. That's just called a ragdoll. Basically, they literally ragdoll is what it's called. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but just in case you didn't know. But yeah, basically every time he is instructed to change his animation or location, but not in a ragdoll state or not a getting up animation state, he pops back to where he's supposed to be. But every time he's ragdolled, boop,
Your apology.
he's gonna be out. So that's pretty much what's going on. But let me go ahead and show you what I got written.
Let's hug it.
All right. So you might think the bug is the fact that he just keeps popping in and out of the NPCs or whatever. But really the bug at its core is that the NPCs do not drop aggro from characters when entering a cutscene. I really should say player characters, but I'm not entirely sure exactly what the cutscene entails or anything like that, or what the missions entails. Again, I don't know GTA very well. I played through it, but that was back in the 360 era, so it's been a while. Let me see. NPCs do not drop aggro from characters when entering a cutscene. This causes NPCs to continue attacking the player characters throughout the cutscene. So, steps before any cutscene, initiate a fight with NPC pedestrians and trigger the cutscene. I'm actually going to say with nearby NPC pedestrians, and the reason I say that is because I'm sure there's some kind of distance thing that if you were to aggro them like 4 blocks away and then try to go into the cutscene, it wouldn't work. Seems self-explanatory, but trust me, I've had devs come back to me with some of the weirdest stuff, weirdest questions of confusion. So, and I get that, I see the bug. It's plain as day to me, but not always plain as day to somebody who's reading the bug. So that's one of the reasons I actually really like the video. But I digress for like the 5 millionth time. Let me see. Results. The NPCs continually fight the player characters throughout the cutscene. Expected results. All NPCs drop aggro and despawn from the immediate area. Notes. The characters still deliver their lines. They are not wasted. I guess I could put that in quotations or what have you, or killed. I'm not sure what they're... Wasted, I think is what they call it in-game, but I don't know what they call it behind the scenes. Let me see. And continue to snap to their instructed position and animation after recovering from the ragdoll. So that is how I would post it. That is what if I were working there. And okay, so this actually I did want to touch on real quick. I always tell you guys don't suggest fixes, but sometimes the expected results can be used to do that kind of thing. So just a FYI, if you want a bug, would love to see a bug be fixed a certain way. Expected results is great for that. Otherwise, expected results actually gives a really good, I guess, peek into the developers, or not the developers, but your mindset whenever you were looking at this bug. Because sometimes developers look at bugs and they're like, I don't see the problem. I don't understand what the problem is. Even when it's not a bug, like sometimes it seems super obvious that that's the way it's kind of supposed to be in their head. And you could say, well, this is what I expected to happen. It's not necessarily what all players will expect to happen. It's a lot of times what you as the tester expected to happen. That's one that's kind of iffy. I've had some, studios where it's like, do not suggest bug fix in any way, shape, or form. I'm working at a publisher right now, which is actually really cool with it. They say if you think of a way to fix it, put it in the bug. So yeah, you'll just have to speak to whoever your supervisor might be. Let's go to the next one. All right. Into the next bug. Let's see what we got here. I don't know. I've seen this one. The cutscene one. Maybe.
That was him.
Oh, was the bug that just like all the... Oh, okay. So something about the way this mission is resetting is not right. Or resetting that checkpoint. Alright, alright. That's interesting. The third way, is that the name of this mission? Yeah, something about their AI is just not resetting properly in this mission. Alright, let's take a look at what the checkpoint was real quick. If it told us a checkpoint. Enough talk, I'll take now. Dang, I really wish it would give you like a pop-up checkpoint saying, yeah, this is what checkpoint you're at. Is there anything? Oh, I don't see anything. We'll just have to make one up for the sake of the bug. Pacific Bluffs. Alright, let's just say that. Okay, let me go ahead and get this written up and yeah, we'll be right to it. Sorry about that. Took a little bit of a break. I hope I remember where I left off, to be honest. Alright, so let me see. Here's my little tags that I like to put at the beginning. Obviously, different for different projects and studios and stuff. I just like to do it. Mission, third way, assuming that's what it's called. Mission checkpoint is what the problem was, and the checkpoint is Pacific Bluffs. I don't know if that's the actual name of the checkpoint. If you had debug commands, you would definitely be able to tell the real name. But anyway, the Triad enemy AI loses all behavioral scripting. How about behavior scripting? Not sure which one would be right. Behavioral? I'm a terrible speller. Behavioral scripting. Yeah, sorry. I'm a terrible speller, and in order to spell things, I have to type them out. And even then, it's kind of a crapshoot. But anyway, behavioral scripting when being wasted immediately after reaching the Pacific Bluffs checkpoint. Description. A lot of times you might not need a description, but I wanted to add a little bit to it. So basically it's the exact same thing, copy and pasted, but then I wanted to elaborate a little bit. This causes them to not react to the player's presence, not prevent the player from entering their car, that they are already occupying, Okay, steps. Progress through the third way normally. I probably don't even need step one, but yeah, just for, I guess just for for completing it, for making sure that it's idiot proof, I guess. I hate that term, but anyway. Approach the Pacific Bluffs checkpoint without triggering it. Ready a method of quickly getting wasted. Probably don't need that either. It's probably self-implied, but let me see. Very quickly after triggering the checkpoint, kill the player character. Once the game has reloaded the checkpoint, approach the enemy AI. Probably don't need this either because the bug actually happened after step 4, but step 5 is sort of like a lot of times the last step people put observe. This happens, and that's not really a step, but eh. Anyway, results. The enemy AI do not display any type of behavior or any behavior. The enemy behaves as if they are designed, the enemy behaves as they are designed to during the mission. I don't like that sentence, but I'm not going to spend too much longer on it. Yeah, okay, so that is how I would write that up, and we'll go ahead and get started with the next one. Unless I can think of something else to add for this. I don't think I need anything else for this one. At some point I will go over mission testing again. I know I did a video for it a while back, but it's a little dated at this point, and hopefully I have a little bit better way to show it off now. So let's go ahead and keep going. There actually was one thing I wanted to put at the end of this. Some people would probably go the extra mile and show all of this behavior that's happening right now, but the developers probably don't even really need all this. So like if you're showing, that kind of thing of them not reacting and them floating behind in front of the cars, all that kind of stuff, you probably don't need that. The developer just needs to know what you did to cause it. So while it's entertaining for all this stuff to be happening, and that's the point of this video, or not the video I'm making, but the point of the video I'm watching. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's cool to show it off. But if you're actually posting to the bug, you don't need all this extra stuff. You just need to know. They just need to know where the bug happened and how you made it happen, not necessarily all the after effects of it. So, moving on to the next one, we can just go ahead and go right into it. Actually,
ain't gonna have no more triads coming out.
No more triads. Man, these open world games are so full of bugs all the time, nonstop. Okay, this is actually, believe it or not, I think the exact same bug as right back here. It doesn't seem like it, but it has the exact same behavior. You're going into a cutscene, and NPCs are not dropping aggro. They're continually fighting and stuff. It's pretty funny to watch, though.
You are either drunk, or you're staring miserably at the clouds, or you're out there doing God.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. Okay, let's do
Eagle 1, Fox 2, Eagle 2, Fox 2.
I'm here! I'm here! This goose is cooked, Ron! Ron! Ron, you hear me? I'm getting a shoot and I'm failing. Got one!
this immediately. You would think that the bug in this case is actually that, during this mission, whenever ragdolling into this place, this is what happened. This is actually a bug with their animation and physics system, not necessarily a bug with this mission in particular. Let me go see if I can get to that point real quick. I'll turn it down so you can hear me a little better, hopefully. Okay, so notice when he gets up out of the thing. So there's usually a capsule collision around the character, and whenever they're ragdolled, that capsule collision is kind of not necessarily gone, but it's considerably reduced in size. I know that. And again, this is making me making wild assumptions based on just my experience, and hopefully I'm getting it right. If I'm not, if you don't know for certain, don't make these assumptions. But okay, so your collision is a little bit smaller whenever you're ragdolled in a lot of these games, just because that's the way the physics work. They need you to be able to fall down into holes and stuff like that whenever you're ragdolled. But whenever you start to play the get up animation, your full-size capsule collision starts to be active again. And whenever the game can't figure out, the space that the character is in isn't big enough to fit this capsule collision, so try to find a space nearby that is big enough. So I'm going to guess in this instance that during that getting up animation, the vehicle was too close to the wall, and it has this sort of arcing roof up here. So whenever they got up and played their full capsule collision, I'm going to guess it just forced them on top because that was like the closest empty space to be able to fit them. So that is my guess. So we'll go ahead and write it up, and I'll be right back. All right, here we go. All right, so I've written out for character collision with my tags. Let's see. Oop, what did I do? Character collision, ragdoll, animation. I could put physics in there. I might put that in like search terms, or I could put it up here. But just know that that's not a bad thing to put there. I just didn't put it there this time. So the short description is characters can completely clip through walls by ragdolling into small enough spaces that would prevent them from playing their getting up animation. Let me see. I went ahead and just copy paste that down here. And the second part is this permits the player to, permits the player. I guess I would say grants the player access. Grants. Maybe a little bit easier. Grants players. Oops. Access to prohibited areas. And if you wonder what I'm using right here, it's a Microsoft program. It's helpful about half the time. Let me see. And negative impact scripting. Okay, that's fine. I say this grants players access to prohibited areas and negatively impacts mission scripting. Let me see. Enter the mission minor turbulence. pet peeve, sorry, just minor neuroses on my part. Let me see, progress to the checkpoint. This thing is toast run. I don't know if that's actually what it's called. Enter the vehicle in the back of the bomber. Back the vehicle into the aft starboard. Let me see, corner of the bomber. Exit the vehicle. Ragdoll the player into the small space between the vehicle and the bomber's interior wall. Repeat step 6 until the player character has stood up through the wall. I would obviously provide a video and all that stuff because this is the kind of thing where it's gonna not happen every single time for every single person. But yeah, there it is. So let me see results. The player character standing up animation causes them to clip through solid geometry. The player cannot clip through walls using ragdolls. So do not make this assumption unless you have a very good understanding of the physics system in your game. But you may wonder, should this be a mission specific or should this be just a general bug like I've written it? Probably a general bug starting off. But I remember there was a time where I was working on a project where we had this almost exact same issue whenever you were carrying an object. So basically what happened is you have your collision capsule, and whenever you picked up like an object, like a two-handed object, like a trash can or something like that, it gave you 2 collision capsules just because they needed to sort of check out the collision for the thing you were holding as well to make sure you couldn't get into places, take it into places that it shouldn't be going into. So yeah, basically whenever you had these 2 collision capsules, it tried to sort of calculate 2 player collisions almost at the same time. So you could go into like a particularly complex corner, like a high poly sort of area, and the game just could not seem to figure out how to calculate all the collisions at the same time. So you could just literally just rub up against this area enough times and it would let you walk through. Now, that ended up just being part of our system. Like we couldn't fix it. Like it just wouldn't work. Like we could never fix it. So we ended up just being stuck with it. So what we ended up having to do is go throughout a lot of the game, find with this debug command where it was showing like the poly count, which in our particular viewport, and had to go to like all these different corners and be like, all right, this one is a high poly corner. This one has a lot of detail to it. We're gonna have to scale that back so that this doesn't happen. So instead of being able to fix like the underlying issue, we were stuck basically putting, plugs in a leaking dam kind of thing. So yeah, you might not be able to find the core issue and then post it. I mean, obviously post it still, but it might not get fixed. So this is one bug that has the potential to create 1,000. So this is a very, very big bug. I would actually call this a P1, priority 1, and I'll go over those some other time. But priorities and impact and can mean different things in different studios. So that's it for that. Let me see. I think that's the end of this video too. Okay, yeah, that was the last one. So it was only 4 bugs that we covered. But there you go. So if you want to check out this video yourself, please do so. Go check out Mad Trevor with 2 Ds, GTA 5 missions, glitches, and bugs. This thing's already gone for 25 minutes, so I will see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Bye.